Well, good afternoon, Rotarians, and welcome back to our final session of this year's district conference, Windows of Opportunity. We have a number of things to cover in this afternoon's session, including our pioneer ceremony, a memorial to those Rotarians who have passed in the last 2 years, a discussion of the future of Rotary by trustee and past Rotary International Vice President Dean Rohrs, the District Conference 2022 presentation, and we all hope we can get back together in person for that. As well, we have awards and special presentations for Rotarians in the district who have excelled in the past year. With that, I'll pass it off to past District Governor Denis Boyd for our pioneer ceremony. Denis?
Thank you, Rod, and hello, Rotarians. Good to see you all on the screen. The Pioneer of Rotary acknowledgement started a long time ago, back in 1934-35 in our part of the country and part of the United States. And for many of our conferences, we've taken time to acknowledge people who've been in Rotary 20 years or more. And we consider them to be pioneers. And Polly Piaro has done such a good job in the past. He wasn't sure he could be here today, so I'm substituting for him. And what we're going to ask you to do, if you've been in Rotary over 20 years and you haven't yet received your Pioneer pin, go down to the bottom of the screen where it says reactions and hit one of those buttons. You can hit this one if you want, or you can hit a hands up. You can hit any one you want, but we need you to do that so we can note your name and be sure to send you a Pioneer of Rotary pin. So if you would do that, you can go down to the bottom of the screen. It's the very right-hand side at the bottom there, and you can hit the reaction button and put up a hand, or in a moment, you can just raise your hand if you want, because we're going to do a bit of a pledge.
And Denis, if I may, please hit the raise hand button, Raise hand button,
okay.
Yeah, because that one will stay on screen and allow Pat to collect all of those.
Oh,
also pop it to the top.
Thanks so much. So raise hand button it is. And if you could do that and leave it up, that would be great. And we'll get back to you Pioneer candidates in a moment. I just wanted to speak a bit about how I ended up doing this. I was got an email the other day from District Governor Carroll and Rod suggesting that I chair this portion of the conference. And I was a little shocked because I don't really see myself old enough to be heading up a group of pioneers. And then Rod had mentioned that I'd done it before, and I couldn't remember doing that. So then I thought maybe I should be doing this, because if I'm not remembering doing it before. Later in the day, I went down to a restaurant to pick up some food supporting the local culture. And the server brought me a couple of boxes, a little under 10 pounds of stuff, and asked me if I needed help getting it to the car. And that sort of cinched it. I guess that meant I was a good candidate. And I was mentioning this to Maureen, feeling a little sorry for myself. And she said, well, what's the date of the meeting? I said, well, the 15th. And she said, well, you became a Rotarian 25 years ago on the 15th of May. So I think you're going to do it. So, okay, so here we are. The background basically is, if you've been in over 25 or 20 years, we want to recognize you, and you're a rare bird. In fact, we'll get your names, and I'm going to send you an email later, and I'm going to ask you a question. And the question is, how come after 20 plus years, you're still in Rotary? And I know there's lots of great reasons, fellowship, etc. But I'm going to ask you, because we're trying to encourage newer members to stick around. Do you know that Rotary says our attrition rate each year is 10%? And we have to get more than 10% new members to maintain our 1.2-ish million members. So over 10 years, we gain 1.2 million members, but we also lose 1.2 million members. Over 20 years, we lose 2,400,000 members. And yet you, pioneers of Rotary, are still here. And so obviously something's working for you that didn't work for over 2 million other people who sort of passed through. Some died, so we can forgive them, but passed through Rotary. So I'll be in touch with you about that. And we will maybe pass on some words of wisdom to the younger Rotarians. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a pledge. This will make it official. that you are indeed a pioneer of Rotary. And I only see a few hands on the screen, so maybe we have others who are already in. If you are already a pioneer and you haven't received your pin yet, you can put your hand up as well, and you can join us in the pledge. So Alan, I think what we'll do is we'll get the pledge up there, and then what we'll do is recite it together. And I will lead and I'll ask you to follow. And I think it would be kind of chaotic if you just put your mic on and we all said it together. But once I'll get the bigger view here so I can see what I'm doing.
And Dennis, we would encourage everybody at this point to be on speaker's view rather than gallery view, which will give them the pledge.
Okay, if you go on speaker's view, you'll see me there, and then right below you'll see the pledge. So what I'm going to ask you to do, even though you have your little hand up on the screen, is I want you to raise your right hand. And if you're not sure which one's your right hand, raise your left, raise them both. I don't care, but we're going to get our hand up and follow after me. So here's the pledge of the Rotary Pioneers. On my honor, I agree that the good old days of Rotary were happy ones.
We're happy ones.
On my honor, I agree.
On my honor, I agree. Good old days of
Good old
Rotary,
days
happy
of
ones.
Rotary were happy ones.
Excellent. I agree, and follow after me. I agree to be obedient to the mandate of the upstarts now controlling Rotary affairs.
I agree to be obedient to
Obedient to
the
the
mandate.
mandates of the now controlling Rotary.
Affairs.
I further agree to let the younger generation push me around at their pleasure.
I further agree to let the younger generation push me around at their pleasure. They're already doing that.
I know, me too. Having survived 1,000 Rotary lunches,
Having survived 1,000 Rotary lunches
or breakfasts or dinners, I agree to absorb in the future whatever form of food is offered me without beefing.
I
absorb in the future whatever form of food is offered
To me without beefing.
You're doing a great job. I agree to try to keep the old carcass from disintegrating too rapidly.
I agree to keep the old carcass disintegrating
too rapidly.
You hear that, Rod?
I further agree not to doze at Rotary meetings unless attempts are made to uplift me.
I further agree not to doze at
Rotary meetings unless attempts are made to uplift me with certain libations.
You're doing great. I can also further agree that I have reached.
I can also further agree
that I have reached
the state of senility when I feel I can keep myself morally straight.
State of senility when I feel I can keep my morality straight. That was pretty heavy.
That last one was a bit severe, but it's tradition. So congratulations to all the new pioneers of Rotary, and we'll be in touch. We're going to send you a pin, and I'm also going to send you a little request to tell me why you're still, thank goodness you're still here, and stay longer in Rotary. Thanks very much.
Well, thank you, past District Governor Dennis Boyd. And we're pleased to know that you learned something about yourself in this Pioneer Celebration. And of course, congratulations to all of those recognized as pioneers for the first time. It's now time for us to recognize those Rotarians who have given of their service to Rotary, who have passed on. This memorial celebration will recognize Rotarians from the past 2 years, as we did not have a district conference last year. We welcome District Conference Chair Doug Wickers and his wife Katie to help us move through this memorial celebration. The slides will be presented over music by Bach, Where Sheep May Safely Graze. Don Anderson, Rotary Club of Bellingham. Joe Chang Cho, Rotary Club of Langley Central. Stephen Fulton, Rotary Club of Marysville. John Garner, Rotary Club of Marysville. Jill Greer, Pacific Northwest Passport Rotary Club of District 5050. Earl Hansen, Rotary Club of Marysville. Fred Hales, Rotary Club of Chilliwack. Walt Johnson, Rotary Club of Surrey. Paul Landgren, Rotary Club of Bellingham. Gail Larson, Rotary Club of Everett. Milford Mac McCulley, Rotary Club of North Delta. John Sovereign, Rotary Club of Chilliwack After Hours. Barry Bond, Rotary Club of Chilliwack Fraser. Brian Thomason, Rotary Club of Aldergrove. Jack William Turner, Rotary Club of Cedro-Woolley. Emery Dosdell, Rotary Club of White Rock, Peace Arch. Elizabeth Johnson, Rotary Club of South Everett, Mukilteo. We thank Doug and Katie and ask that you remember these Rotarians as you move forward in your Rotary service. And as I mentioned earlier, we will now have district awards, and I would like to ask District Governor Carroll if she would unmute, and we'll get a spotlight on her as she takes us through the district awards, which recognize service by Rotarians this past year of Rotary. Carol, if you would, please.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and friends. Hasn't it been a wonderful program so far? Just the breadth of Rotary and the opportunities that's opened for people has sent chills down my spine so many times in the last day and a half that we've shared. One of the many fun parts about being a district governor is to recognize exceptional service to our amazing organization. It's also probably one of the most challenging decisions to make, as there are so many worthy potential recipients. The Avenues of Service Award is considered the highest honor that Rotary International can bestow on a member. It recognizes up to 150 outstanding Rotarians and Rotaractors from the 535 districts in the Rotary world each year, whose service activities make an impact on humanity. Each district can only nominate one candidate, and a person can only receive that award once. Nominees must be Rotarians or Rotaractors in good standing and may not be current, incoming, or immediate past district governors, RI directors, RI presidents, or Rotary Foundation trustees. Nominees must have demonstrated exemplary continuing humanitarian service in any form at any level. Emphasis is placed on personal volunteer efforts and active involvement in helping others through Rotary, rather than one's performance in an elected or appointed Rotary assignment. It gives me great pleasure to announce our newest Service Above Self Rotarian is past District Governor Sean Hogan from the Pacific Northwest Passport Club. Sean joined the Rotary Club of North Delta on June 14th, 1987, on his 27th birthday. Sean served in various club positions, including president in 93-94. He joined the District 5050 Youth Leadership Awards, or RILA committee, in May of 2000, and served as its chair from 2001 to 2007. For RILA's 25th anniversary in 2006-2007, Sean visited every club in District 5050, but he was late when he came to the Rotary Club of Chilliwack. And he started Yale, which is RILA for 15 to 18-year-olds. He then served as the District 5050 Youth Programs Chair, RI Convention Promotion Chair 3 times, and has been on the faculty with the Rotary Leadership Institute since 2007. He was an assistant governor in 2010 to 2012, district governor 2012 to 2013, RI president's rep twice, RI public image coordinator in Zone 24 West from 2015 to 2018. And yes, poor Carol deserves a share of this. Sean served a second term as president of his club in 2014-2015, and then charter president of the Pacific Northwest Passport Club in 2018. He also served as RI Regional Membership Plan Project Lead 2014 to 2017, was District 5050 Finance Chair 2016 to 2017, and was Vice Governor in 2018 to 2019. Sean is a senior partner at the law firm Buckley Hogan and is recognized by all of his staff as the fairest employer they have ever worked for. Sean cares deeply about integrity and people. He was very involved with the Scott Road Business Association for a number of years. His law firm is a generous donor and sponsor of numerous community and Rotary events, and is also a sponsor of this event. Sean and his wife, poor Carol, have 3 children, and he was very involved with their elementary school parents advisory committee. Sean and Carol were also very active in their church and served as counselors for a number of years with the marriage preparation program. In the early 1990s, Sean was nominated for a Community Bravery Award. He was in the courthouse and heard screaming coming from a courtroom. So he dashed into that courtroom and intervened as one of the lawyers had been stabbed with a knife by one of the witnesses. Sean isolated the knife wielder in a corner until the police arrived. Sean embodies service above self in all aspects of his life. Sean and Carol are major donors, level 3 of the Rotary Foundation, and recently offered over 30,000 Paul Harris Fellow points for a District 5050 Foundation campaign that resulted in over $101,000 in donations last August. As governor, Sean also established a wills program in our district, identifying Rotary lawyers in both Canada and the US who would volunteer their services to prepare codicils for members who wanted to make a bequest to the Rotary Foundation. Most notably, though, is that Sean has traveled to Kenya annually since 2009 to set up computer labs in schools. It initially started as setting up donated desktops and monitors. However, in 2011, Sean realized that that was not sustainable. He worked with a Rotarian in our district, IT tech guru Mark Niddle, who developed what is now known as ARIES, the Africa Ruggedized Education Solution. Since 2013, ARIES has outfitted 47 schools in Kenya with the system that includes the server and 20 laptops per location. Many clubs have obtained foundation grants for ARIES, both at the district and global grant level. Sean frequently speaks to clubs to promote the ARIES program. And Sean and Carol have taken their children with them. All of their children have gone on these trips with them over the years. Congratulations, my friend Sean, and thank you and Carol for your service to Rotary and to your local and international communities. And would you like to unmute yourself and make a few comments?
Oh, I'm blown away. Thank you very much. That's I suspect that a co-conspirator gave you a lot of information about me. And this really wouldn't have happened without Carol. It's really a team effort for the two of us. So I accept this honor on behalf of both of us. And thank you very much. And I was actually a little bit tired from hearing all the things I'd done. I'd forgotten a lot of them. So thank you again to all of the district and to those who nominated me. And it really has been a pleasure to be a Rotarian. It's been a privilege. It's enriched my life, Carol's life, the life of our children, our family, and our community. And I can't be prouder to be a Rotarian. So thank you.
Thank you for those words, and congratulations again, Sean. Now on to the Goldfinch Most Valuable Rotarian Award. And I'd like to invite past District Governor Denis Boyd to give you the background on this award, as it was instituted in the year that Denis was governor. Over to you, Denis.
Thank you, Carol. And congratulations, Sean. Well-deserved. Poor Carol's the most active non-Rotarian I've ever met. She's very much part of that. So
have you met your wife?
Well, she's right behind, but she's actually a Rotarian. I met Ron Goldfinch a number of years ago when we were both AGs, and we were AGs together with for a couple of years. And first time was with John Bosch and then with Larry Stinson. And as you can see by the picture on the left there, Ron and Christiana Plesner and I, plus Jane Helton. Actually, we were 4 AGs in the group of 10 who regularly got together a little bit like a rat pack. And whenever there was an event, we were at the front desk doing registrations, whatnot, and did that throughout the 2 years we were together. And we got to know each other and had some good times, lots of laughs. Ron joined us in the first faculty of Rotary Leadership Institute. Larry Stinson, forward-thinking governor, brought Rotary Leadership and Visioning in that year. And he was there as well, helping out and showing his affection for an old guy there in the middle. I just want to tell you one quick little story about Ron Goldfinch. He had a wonderful sense of humor, but he's a bit of a tease, and we would tease each other. And John Bosch, as a governor, was immaculately dressed all the time. He always had his suit, and he was always looking pretty dapper. And Ron would constantly remind him of that. And so we were at President's-elect training in John's year, and we all got new name tags. And so we got our name tags, badges, and Ron said, Ron Goldblum. So Ron brought it to John's attention that he'd misspelled his name. Oh, John was very apologetic, and he went off and arranged for another name tag to be printed and brought up the next name tag and gave it to Ron, and it was Ron Goldfish. And so Ron was getting a little perturbed at this time, but finally got his actual name tag, but John was able to get back at him, and he took it very much in stride. So this award was created when I was governor in memory of Ron, because he would have been a district governor and he would have been an excellent one. And I wanted it to sort of reflect, I wanted, first of all, to be an award and a governor could give to somebody they felt was a very valuable Rotarian to them. So there's no voting involved, it's the governor's choice. So it's called the Goldfinch Most Valuable Rotarian Award. And this is what it looks like. You're going to see another one in a minute. The first one went to Valerie Tibbetts back in 2013-14, and Maureen Boyd, who's my most valuable Rotarian to this day, got the second one. And they've been given out the last several years as well. And then there's this little pin, which is a Rotary pin with a little goldfinch on it. I don't know whether you can see that or not. So the recipient gets that as well. And the purpose of this award is to acknowledge strong commitment to Rotary, strong commitment to the leadership team in the district, good organizational skills, and most importantly, a great sense of humor. And that was very much what Ron Goldfinch was amongst many other things. So thank you, Carol.
Thanks for that, Denis. And this award is very special to me, as Ron was my sponsor into the Rotary Club of Chilliwack and was one of my best friends. And as I mentioned in my installation as governor last July, Ron so wanted to be governor. And as Denis said, he would have been a fabulous one. And I have dedicated this past year of my service in honor of him. Our first recipient of the Goldfinch Most Valuable Rotarian Award this year is our foundation chair, Malcolm Kennedy, from the Rotary Club of Coquitlam Sunrise. Malcolm started as foundation chair in the 2019-2020 Rotary year. His motto with his team is "Get it to yes," and he has done that in spades. When the world went dark in March of 2020 and the district provided area COVID response grants, Malcolm cheerfully agreed to take on this additional task. This initiative was very significant in getting our club active and involved in the very early days of the pandemic. As you heard Dean mention this morning, our district foundation success in both annual fund and Polio Plus contributions has been exemplary, due in no small part to Malcolm's involvement in the Golf Fund Point Match campaign last August, as well as the amazing foundation gala at the beginning of November, and then another Point Match campaign during Foundation Month. Not being totally satisfied with our Polio Plus numbers, Malcolm recently initiated the District 5050 Polio Plus Society, and I'm so proud of that. Malcolm and his team had the district grants approved, I believe, a month earlier than previously ever done, in record time. Again, knowing that these funds were more important than ever for the clubs that were still struggling last September with reimagining their fundraising initiatives. Our district has also processed the most global grants ever this Rotary year. Thank you, Malcolm, for your commitment and dedication to the district, for always saying yes, for your sense of humor and your passion for Rotary. Would you like to unmute yourself and make a few comments, please?
Thank you very much, Carol. I'm not sure I can actually talk now. This is going to actually blow me away. I'd like to thank my wife for, as we all know, without a wife backing you, I spent a lot of hours. I'm going to have to pass. This is actually blowing me away. Thank you very much.
Malcolm, it's been truly a pleasure to work with you. And I've loved Evelyn's thank you cards, custom made. Your dedication and sense of humor and I just congratulations. And I'd also like to note that the image, the award is actually a beautiful wood plaque, as Denis showed earlier. However, I've not received them yet. And the picture on this slide is the proof from the trophy shop. And as Denis said, you'll also get a really cool Rotary Goldfinch bird pin.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you, Malcolm. Our second recipient of the Goldfinch Most Valuable Rotarian Award is Assistant Governor Al Sternegard of the Rotary Club of Port Moody. Al first impressed me at Pacific Northwest Pets in February of 2020. His motto is "Keep me busy." He took on additional Sergeant-at-Arms shifts and was a great help in the District 5050 Hospitality Suite and wherever he was needed. Al also coordinated the very first area district-sponsored new member orientation evening. It was a great event, and I believe that was one of the last in-person Rotary meetings that I actually attended. Al has the most clubs in his reporting area and has been very patiently nurturing the formation of what will soon be the newest club in our district. Al's knowledge, humor, and patient persona has helped me center numerous times over the last year. Congratulations, Alan. Thank you for your support and your dedication. And would you like to say a few words?
Wow, Carol, thank you. Great honor. I am quite shocked to get this. I look around the room, I look around Rotary, and I see so many awesome, incredible people. I don't hold myself up to them. But thank you very much. Awesome. Thank you.
A man of few words. No, thank you, Ellen, and congratulations. Our next award is the Rotary Foundation Citation for Meritorious Service, which honors one Rotarian or Rotaractor per district who has been actively involved in service related to the Rotary Foundation. District Rotary Foundation committee chairs can nominate only one candidate from their district, and the nomination must be endorsed by the current district governor. Nominees must be active Rotarians or Rotaractors in good standing and may not be current, incoming, or immediate past district governors, RI directors, or Rotary Foundation trustees. One person can only receive this award once. Service to the Rotary Foundation must have been for more than 1 year. Eligible service includes, but is not limited to, service on foundation committees at the club, district, or international level, participation in foundation grants or programs, and support of the Rotary Peace Fellow Program. And if he's able to talk now, I will ask Foundation Chair Malcolm to announce the recipient.
Yes, Carol, thank you very much. Sorry about that. You actually blew me away. I'm very proud that, of this person. This person has been involved in the district foundation team for 8+ years. Part of the movement to go online, she was involved with that. Part of the team to rework the training seminars. By nature is a black and white type of your person, sees everything as black and white. Kept me, who is by nature a gray type of person. I like to color out of the lines. She kept me out of trouble, which was no easy task. She also learned to work in the gray area and to see the benefit to your clubs. Has always been quick to respond to not only my requests, but was the go-to person for clubs for any questions they might have. And it was rare to wait for more than 1 day for a response. Has been the force that has kept me learning, asking me questions that I could not answer, making sure that a PowerPoint slide made sense, chaired the district grants committee for 3 years, the global grants chair for 3 years, was a major role in moving the foundation team to what is now being called Get to Yes. And I'm grateful for all she had done. I'm very pleased to present this award to a very good friend of mine, Val Tibbetts.
Expecting me to say something or make a joke or something, because I'm really honored. I'm not sure I can. Thank you.
Thank you, Malcolm, and congratulations, Valerie. You've been an instrumental part of our District Foundation Get It to Yes team for years. And as a black and white kind of person, that's one of the reasons why I think we've always gotten along. Congratulations, Val. And next, we have the Rotary Foundation Distinguished Service Award, which honors up to 50 Rotarians and Rotaractors annually who have demonstrated exemplary service to the foundation and who have received the citation for meritorious service at least 4 years earlier. District governors can endorse only one nomination for their district. Current and incoming trustees are not eligible to nominate or endorse candidates for this award. Nominations must include detailed information about the specific foundation activities and responsibilities of the nominee since they received the citation for meritorious service. The nominee's eligible service must be on a broad basis over an extended period of time, including at least 6 years out of including at least 6 out of 11 activities, with a substantial level of activity in the last 2 years. Only 44 of these awards were awarded this Rotary year throughout the Rotary world. Foundation Chair Malcolm, please announce the recipient.
Thank you very much, Carol. This person goes back at least 10 years on the Rotary Foundation, has chaired the district grants committee, then global grants, was part of the movement to the new global grant system, on the approval team for the first district VTT, then supported fully the new kids on the block, like me, as we move to online applications, likes to be one-on-one on the phone instead of on email. Has a different home in a different district and eagerly shares his knowledge with his other home club. Most of his efforts are done quietly behind the scenes as he works with members from many different clubs in estate planning, helping them to ensure that the Rotary Foundation will continue long after we do. I am very pleased to present this honor to our endowment chair, Rick Baldick. Rick.
First of all, thank you very much. I really appreciate the honor. It's been a real pleasure to work with people at the district level, as well as with the various clubs. I know that I really enjoyed work. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Sean and Al and Val and Malcolm, who we've worked together for a long time. But it's been quite a pleasure, and I hope we can continue to do good things in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Malcolm, and thank you and congratulations, Rick, for your long history of service to our foundation.
No, not that. That's her.
Thank you.
Now, Paul Harris Fellow recognition has been decorating our Rotary Foundation's passionate supporters for many years. It's a proud tradition that honors the memory of our founder, Paul Harris. I believe that he would be deeply moved to see all that Rotarians and friends of Rotary and friends of our foundation have done and continue to do in the name of his beloved organization. Rotarians often designate a Paul Harris Fellow as a tribute to a person whose life demonstrates a shared purpose with the objectives of the Rotary Foundation, to do good in the world. The members we are honoring today were designated to receive this recognition as a special expression of appreciation from Rotary District 5050. The symbolism in this recognition is to say thank you for making a difference in your club and specifically your Rotary district. By accepting this recognition, you'll join a family of well over 1 million Paul Harris Fellows worldwide. The first recipient is Phoenix McLaren of the Rotaract Club of the Fraser Valley. Phoenix has served at our district in a variety of capacities since 2016 as District Rotaract Rep, District Rotaract Chair, RILA Chair, and she is serving also this year as our Zone 28 Assistant Rotary Coordinator. Phoenix was recognized at the Rotary International Convention in Hamburg for her impact on the significant growth of Rotaract in our district. Phoenix always says yes and is very patient and cheerful in all her dealings with everyone. Thank you and congratulations, Phoenix, for making our district better. Congratulations, Phoenix. Our next recipient is Felicity Dye of the Rotary Club of Bellingham. Felicity has served as our district youth exchange committee for a number of years and is currently chair of that committee. As chair, Felicity had to handle getting out our last inbound student safely home last summer and has beautifully worked to keep the program alive in a very challenging year. She and the members of the committee have done presentations throughout the district to promote the program for when we are able to reopen. A lot of time was also spent retooling processes so that our program will be more vibrant and dynamic in the future. Felicity, thank you for your dedication and commitment to the Youth Exchange program, and congratulations on becoming our newest Paul Harris Fellow. Thank you, Felicity, and congratulations. Our next recipients have individually been conferred Paul Harris Fellows. However, I am presenting them in tandem. Lexi Wynn of the Rotaract Club of Semiahmoo and Dakota White of the Rotaract Club of Bellingham are the head facts for our Yale or Youth Adventures and Leadership program. This year, they, along with the committee, spent countless meetings deliberating an in-person or a virtual event. I had the opportunity at many of those meetings to see these young two adults lead the direction towards what ended up being an amazing 5-session virtual event that concluded this past Thursday. They reimagined the program into AIM by Yale so that it was not to have the attendees feel that they had experienced Yale, as they did not. But the youth that attended this event were blown away by amazing speakers from around the world. It truly was very special, and it was all to the credit of Lexi and Dakota, supported by a great and involved committee. Thank you, Lexi and Dakota, and congratulations. All right, now for the next recipient, I don't have a certificate to show, as he is already a Paul Harris Fellow because of his personal financial contributions to the Rotary Foundation. I also did not make up a slide, as that would have spoiled the surprise, as the recipient of the next honorific is our very own tech guru, Alan Badak. Alan has, for the last 14 months, spent countless hours being the tech host for all the virtual events that we have now gotten so used to. He was a great support for past District Governor Brad and for all the events this Rotary year, and a huge support for me. And that became even more evident in this past week leading up to the event. Alan, here is your Paul Harris Fellow +8 pin, and thank you so much for everything. Would you like to say anything?
Wow. Like Malcolm, I am at a loss for words. It has been a pleasure using some of the things that I know to help keep all of our clubs engaged. That was my big worry in March last year when things shut down. And so I am very grateful that I've had the opportunity to be a small part in keeping everyone moving forward. I know our club has actually gained, I'm not sure what the number is, but we've had about 8 or 10 new members since meeting just online. So yeah, it's been a pleasure, and thank you so much for the recognition.
Well, and Alan, thank you, my friend. It's been a pleasure working with you and getting to know you more. Now, your wife might not agree with you, but the number of times I've said to you, with all the tech rehearsals and everything in the last week, Alan, you've got the patience of Job. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And last but not least, honorable mention to an amazing Rotarian who is already a Paul Harris Fellow +8. So honorable mention to Dave Duskin. When Dave was in his 3rd year as assistant governor, the last Rotary year, Dave stepped up as the chair of the newly formed communications committee. He developed policies and procedures and has wonderfully chaired this vibrant and very active committee. Thank you so much, Dave, for your contributions to the district as an assistant governor and as the district communications chair and a member of the district board. To all of the amazing recipients I've had the honor to recognize today, thank you so much for your service to Rotary and your commitment to serving your fellow Rotarians. It really, truly is an honor to know each and every one of you. Thank you. Back to you, Rod.
Thank you very much, District Governor Carroll, and let me add my congratulations to all the recipients of those district awards. I know each and every one of you is deserving of the awards. I also know that none of you went into your service expecting that award, which makes it all the more, reason for us to recognize you. The recognition is just a byproduct of your great service, and we thank you for that. And thank you for your continuing service to your communities and to the world through Rotary. Well, this is the time in the afternoon where we have looked back at some of the service of Rotary. We have looked at the contributions that people who have just received awards have made. Now it's time to look to the future of Rotary. Our president's representative, Dean Rohrs, Rotary trustee, Dean Rohrs, is going to give us a little insight into her work on the Future of Rotary Task Force. and the things that she has learned when speaking to Rotarians around our Rotary world about what Rotary can be in the future. Now, as you know, Dean is both past Rotary International Vice President, past Director of Rotary International from Zone 28, and also past District Governor from 5040 and a member of the Langley Central Rotary Club in District 5050. As I've mentioned before, Dean is not only passionate, but compassionate in her service to Rotary, and she brings a keen intellect and understanding of the wants and wishes of Rotarians. So with that, Dean, please share with us some of your thoughts about the future of our great organization.
Thank you, Rod. But before that, I would just like to make some comments. You know, today has been for me absolutely hanging on every word. Last night, today has been a celebration. It's been a celebration of my district and how honored I was to be able to serve in the role as special representative from the president at this district conference. It's an honor that I really treasure. It's been stunning. What else can I say? It's difficult times, it's difficult situations, not being together face to face, not having the ability to stand there and touch and share physical moments has really not intruded into what this conference accomplished. Carol, congratulations on your vision, on your staying the course and making this the amazing conference that it is. I will very, very proudly be able to report back to President Knark just what you have achieved. You know, I'm just as touched as some of the recipients because although I was aware of some of the nominations who were receiving awards, the fact that this district has received the 3 top awards of Rotary International and the Foundation in 1 year is absolutely exceptional. There are 530 districts in this world. Our district, out of those nominations, received 1 award for each one of them. I think that just shows what this different district does, how this district commits, and where this district has its impact in the world. So my personal thanks as a member of this district for the work that every single one of you do. My thanks as a trustee. Thank you for what you do for doing good in the world. So now let me get back to my original comments on this. So Carol, you asked me to speak on the future of Rotary. So what qualifies me to speak about this future of Rotary? Who am I? Who am I to talk about that? Okay, I've been the district governor. I've been a director for the zones. I've been the vice president of Rotary International, and I have now sat as the vice chair of Shaping Rotary Futures Committee for 3 years, and I will continue with that role in Rotary's year. This has been a fascinating journey, but honestly and truly, it hasn't given me any insight as to where Rotary is going to go in the future. Obviously, I know in my mind and my heart where I think it should be going. And I also know the dream and the intent of the direction that Shaping Rotary's Future Committee has. But I think this quote from Oprah says it all. The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his or her future by merely changing his or her attitude. Let's rephrase this. The greatest discovery of all times is that Rotarians can change their future by merely changing their attitudes. So let's explore this further. We really are at a crossroads in Rotary. And what I'm telling you is not new news because Denis has already shared with you that we've stagnated with membership worldwide at 1.2 million for the last 10 years. And during that time, we brought in more than the 1.2 million, and we lost more than the 1.2 million Rotarians. But that's not the whole picture. India and Africa have exploded with new members and many new Rotary clubs, while those of us in the Western world, Europe, the Americas, Canada, Australia, etc., have decreased in membership and in club numbers. Not just a little, but significantly. And even during these COVID times, membership has grown in Africa and India. And we have to ask ourselves why. Why is it that their Rotary is vibrant and growing and our Rotary is declining? We struggle for leadership in our clubs, for new members, for a new energy. We get excited when we end the year with +1 new members in our clubs, forgetting that we brought in 6 new members and we lost 5. But obviously, there are exceptions to this rule. But these new clubs with their new attitudes really are in the minority. Even these new clubs of ours, when measured against the new clubs in other parts of the world, are moderately different. I've just attended the chartering of a new club in Uganda, which chartered with 180 new members. I'll repeat that. It wasn't just the minimum of 20 required members to charter. They chartered with 180 new members. And what's more, this is a corporate club with membership mainly from one organization. Why would this be? Why would it be that in our own district, with its large corporations or with a social responsibility focus, we cannot do the same? Is it perhaps because we market our product in a way, we deliver our product in a way, and we sustain our members in a way which is not attractive to our prospective customers? These were some of the questions we asked ourselves in shaping Rotary's future committee. We started with a premise that if we were to design an organization doing humanitarian service under the 4-way test and the objective of doing good in the world, what would it look like? Who would its prospective members be? What would resonate with these members? And how would this organization support these members to fulfill their and the organization's needs? So do you honestly think in this era of internet, social media, youth expectations, and instant information and communication, that it would be based on a structure that revolved around a weekly meeting format with a meal and an agenda that had not changed for 50 years? Would it be based on a cost structure that today is accepted in most Rotary clubs? We need to be honest, and we need to admit that most of our clubs operate in a way that has not undergone anything but small cosmetic changes for the last 30 years, if not longer. Yes, COVID has forced us to jump into this 21st century and accept reality in a different way. But here's the thing. Other than that I sit in my own home and attend the meeting virtually, and I provide my own lunch, the meeting format remains the same. No concession to the new format. The new format has had to concede to the old cultural agenda. A wonderful opportunity to bring energy into the club during hard times, to connect members with a new medium and to get them involved, to share a new adventure. And this has been missed. And I will bet you all that once face-to-face meetings are resumed, it will be back to the old ways again. Perhaps an attempt initially to do hybrid meetings, but soon to settle into the comfortable ways it's been for the last 30 years. Is this working for your club? Perhaps you have taken on new ways and you have a vibrant new membership, but has your club grown by 10, maybe 20, maybe 30%? But I digress. Let me get back to the future and stop looking at the past. The reason that Africa and India is growing so energetically is that the product they are offering their new members is a product that the members want. The product is delivered in a packaging that fits their culture and their needs. In Uganda, for example, and so many of you have been to Africa and have experienced Rotary in Africa. But in Uganda, you do not attend a meeting, you go to fellowship. These fellowships are fun, they're informative, and they rarely encompass a meal and any costs. They are attended by many visiting Rotarians, and it's quite common for Rotarians to attend a couple of these different clubs meetings a week. Every member is involved. They've not very rarely have speakers unless it's visiting Rotarians that can contribute. It's vibrant, it's alive, and it has a purpose leading to action. Meetings, fellowships have action. What became very evident to shaping Rotary's future committee was that there are huge regional differences dictated by language, culture, economy, geography, religions, political stability, just to name a few. There is no cookie cutter set of parameters that will fit the whole world. But universally, the traditional way of doing Rotary, designed 100 years ago in North America, is a model that is used around the world, the Rotary world. Where regions have brought their own cultures into the design of Rotary, where they have made it their Rotary for their time, also in the ways they deliver the product, we are seeing great growth and success. The struggles lie in areas where the shoe has never fitted or no longer fits because the needs have changed. In the mind of the committee, it was important to acknowledge this and divide the world into its obvious regional areas. This could be from 30 to 40 different areas. There are already 32 zones in the world, but they are not based on a cultural affiliation, rather on a geographical one. So let's just look at McDonald's. McDonald's is a good example to use here. The same brand, the same values, but the recipes for the menu items differ greatly in the countries where the franchises are. They all sell food and are accountable for quality, but the menu and the food are tailored to the communities they serve. But probably one of the most important questions we asked ourselves as a committee was, who is the actual customer in the Rotary organization? At this time, we have this brilliant organization with an almost unending supply of information, products, training material, and support available from Evanston and its regional offices. But somehow, much of that never reaches the end consumer, you and the clubs. There is stasis somewhere in the delivery path, what we like to call the frozen middle. Below, we have members and clubs that are eager to get the information, to get going. And from the top, we have an abundance of information and resources desperately trying to reach the clubs and members. And in between, you have layer and layers of bureaucracy, committees and leadership layers that either stop or dilute this flow. How do we simplify this? How do we make a direct connection between Rotary International information and resources and the members and the clubs that need it? This is actually where the sticking point of acceptance of the new plan from Shaping Rotary's Future Committee lies. We are so invested in our organizational structure with zone directors, regional coordinators, district governors, district assistant governors, and district committees, all levels through which information must flow to reach the clubs, and all that carry their own hierarchy recognition, that just the thought of removing any of these levels is causing huge discomfort. Shaping Rotary's future committee is suggesting that regions are administered by a regional council, an elected body from the region serving 3 years and covering all the areas that today are administered by district committees. Reporting to the regional council will be a person. And here again, we have struggled to find some label to call this person. It could be area leaders, area representatives, section leaders, in a sense, a section governor. Though we are loath to use the word governor, as this position will have no governance role. This area/section leader will be responsible for a collection of clubs. Some suggested numbers are 20, 30 clubs. There would be both a section leader and an assistant section leader serving for 2 years, sort of pacing each other and being the conduit between the clubs and the regional council. No district committees and no governance at this level. This model gives a greater opportunity for growth of leadership and opportunities to serve beyond the club. It also takes away the 421 duties that are assigned to what is now the role of a district governor and gives the section leaders greater freedom to motivate and support and enhance the clubs they serve, and thus grow Rotary. The regional coordinators, your Rotary coordinator, we've not discussed the foundation coordinator because that's another pretty tough point. Public image coordinators and all of the others will be replaced by a bank of subject matter experts from all over the world, covering every area where clubs and members need support. This cadre will be trained and certified and registered at Rotary International. A club could then draw down the support of this expert in any area where help is needed. Training will be coordinated by the regional council and drawn directly into the club from Rotary International. Regional events will take place involving everyone. So it will be building the cultural relationships in the area where people need to be together, where they can have effect. Now, the biggest thing about this is please understand that this is a draft proposal. It is just a start on the journey of flattening our organization and bringing it into the 21st century to accept the changes that our world and society is demanding from us. The day we stop being relevant in the way we deliver our product is the day we stop being relative to the world. And we must be relevant to the part of the world we operate in. So we need flexibility and choices. We need direct and instant access. We need low costs. We need to look at the needs of those coming behind us. We need to look at the youth of today who will be the leaders of Rotary tomorrow. So where are we with this plan today? We're now entering a phase where we will be surveying all of those who will be impacted. And the surveys will be on various aspects of this plan. This would lead to adaptations of our draft plan and then into piloting it with different areas around the world. Pilot districts are already under consideration, and the committee is working towards having the necessary laws and proposals being put forward to the next Council of Legislation. When we look to the future of Rotary, a huge player is the role that the Rotary Foundation plays. This really is the grease around the axle that drives the Rotary engine. And I'm not going to go into all the issues surrounding the changes in the grant funding or the reasons why this happened, as this has been covered before. But we cannot ignore the fact that if we do not build our foundation resources, we will not be able to do the work around the world that you as clubs and members want done. We need to find funding sources beyond our own pockets. We need to become attractive to those other huge foundations and corporations outside of Rotary, such as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who's already funding our polio initiative. And we will be forming more and more partnerships, offering resources, funding, and expertise to enhance Rotary. You've had the very good news about our fight against polio, but there are big challenges still ahead, and this has to do with our funding for the program. I attended an International Polio Plus Committee orientation on Thursday. For my sins, I've been appointed as liaison to this committee, and what an exciting journey to be on. But they told me that the revised budget to finish this fight against polio will be in excess of $5 billion. I really hate to say we are this close, because that's come back to bite us in the butt so many times. But the reality is that the light at the end of the tunnel is so much closer. And we honestly and truly cannot give up now. We are nearly there. What's in the future after polio? A question that I was asked this morning. And you know what? Who knows? There will be a future. There will be a future project, but it will be one designed in consultation with all of you. Until the day we can say and goodbye to polio and celebrate our success in eliminating this terrible, terrible virus and keeping our promise to the world, we will not look at another new project. We are putting into place the mechanisms of how to identify this new project, but the project itself will only be considered when the fight for polio is over. I can go on for hours, but my time is up. My last words are, I joined a Rotary more than 30 years ago. I was born into a Rotary nearly 80 years ago. It suited my worlds and my needs at the time that I joined. In the 30 years I've been a real Rotary member, its format has hardly changed, but the world around me is a totally different place. I need to leave a Rotary that is in step with the world, in step with the times, and that will give my children and those that come after me the vehicle for them to reach their ideals of Rotary service. I have to change, not them. Thank you. It's there for questions if there are any.
Thank you very much, Dean. And we'll just see if any questions pop into our chat box. Dean, I've been around for the shift in the Rotary Foundation in 2010, when we looked at the future of where the Rotary Foundation was going and the pilot districts that went on that year. And I remember the terrible angst and frankly, anger that came from some Rotarians about what was happening with our foundation. And frankly, 11 years later, 10 years later, I believe we're in a much stronger position than we were previously. I believe that the dollars are being expended more efficiently, that we're able to get them where they need to be more efficiently, and that the programming is more effective in the areas we go. So it's one of those where to move to a future with new and wonderful ideas, we have to be prepared to let go of our past. And while we should, rightly be proud of our history to this point, I firmly believe we should not allow history to bind us but rather to guide us toward a new future. So thank you for that very inspiring speech about where we happen. Dennis Boyd asks, Dean, do we have a time frame for when the pilots of our future state will be active?
Yes, we have a timeline that we are working on, bearing in mind that before we can pilot, we have to get permission to pilot. So we have to present to Council on Legislation and have this accepted and passed by the representatives of the Rotary world. Once we have the okay to go ahead, we will immediately start. We have already identified 3 areas in the world where we want to pilot and who want to pilot with us. And we are working on the actual framework and protocols of the pilot itself at this time. There are slight differences in the nuances in the areas where they will be piloted, but that is a good thing. With the reasons these were chosen, because they have areas which can be used as comparatives. So they have different cultures or different ways of doing things, which will give us the comparatives that we need as to what will succeed where it needs to succeed. These pilots will obviously run for 3 years. And it's when these pilots are done that further indication will be of the change of the model that comes to the world, because it's a huge change for the way that Rotary is structured and the way that it operates. And we do not see this being in place for another 6 to 10 years. No, somebody once told me the wheels of Rotary grind slowly, but they grind irrevocably. And I think this is an instance where I have to hold back my impatience and try and say, look, we have a demand, we need to go as fast as we can. But we have to step carefully, because if we fail, the program fails.
So Dean, is there a written outline of this program at this stage, or will that come when it's put forward to the council?
It will come when it's put forward to the council. At the moment, it's in flux. I mean, I have shared with you more than many other districts have heard because of my involvement with you. Barry Rassin at the moment is speaking to a large number of groups, but our philosophy is that we need to tell you these things face to face, because elements of the written plan can be taken, can be changed, can be misrepresentative, and that's not something that we want. This is a sensitive matter. We need to step delicately, but we need the support for change, right? What the ultimate change will be, as I say, we don't honestly know. We know what our dream is, but what the world's dream will be is what the reality will be.
So Dean, I think that highlights the importance of our Council on Legislation representatives to communicate with the district at the time that those proposals come forward, and to get a clear understanding of what the implications of those proposals are, so that we as Rotarians can form support for or changes to those proposals. So thank you. We'll look for that coming through. Another question regarding polio eradication. And it's that old story, Dean, you mentioned it may take another $5 billion to get us there. One of Murphy's laws is the first 90% of a job takes 90% of the time, and the last 10% takes the other 90. And I think that's what we're finding with polio. Question about the Gates Foundation with the rather public circumstances, personal circumstances between Bill and Melinda. Do you see this having any negative impact on the Gates Foundation's support of our polio initiatives?
Our contract with the Gates Foundation terminates. I think we're in our first year at the moment. Not sure if it's our second year of a 3-year contract, that our last contract that we signed with them. We have a lot of faith that the commitment and the mission and philosophy of the Gates Foundation, whether it is now being directed from 2 different areas instead of from 1 area, will continue with a relationship with Rotary, because this is a fundamental essence of what the Gates Foundation is, and that's disease prevention and infectious diseases. And we are there, and we've stood side by side, and we've delivered what they've asked. So we have a lot of faith that this will continue in the way that it is. Where we are having some issues at the moment is not with the Gates Foundation, but it's with the governments of the world. Because of COVID, and you might have heard, the British government has cut their polio support in their next wave of support by 95%. That is a huge amount of money. There are Rotarian advocates in the US working very, very strongly at the moment to get them to change their minds, and who knows what will happen. But this is where each one of us has been able to contact the people that we have influence with and able to direct and ask for a continuation of the funding that we need from the governments of the world, because they are the biggest supporters of the polio initiative.
And Dean, we just see a comment here in the chat that says, whatever changes come to our organization in the future, we're still Rotarians serving our communities and the world. And I think that's the thing we have to keep in mind, that regardless of the administrative trappings around what we do, we still have opportunities, windows of opportunity to serve our communities, to serve the world, and frankly, to serve each other. So Dean, that brings to
unchanged. That is unchanged. Who we are, what we stand for.
Those core values remain.
Not negotiable.
Dean, thank you. And I will ask our conference chair, Doug Wickers, if he would now come in and give a formal thank you to you at this stage. Doug?
Thank you, Rod. I'm not sure I can do better than the few words that you just said to extend our thanks to Dean, who, to use current language, is a statesperson. And we are so fortunate to have her compassionate consideration of the needs for change to maintain RI's relevance. So I just thank you, Dean, personally and collectively from District 5050 for being that person at Rotary who's guiding us forward to maintain that relevance of what we want to do to provide service and support and compassion and love to our communities and to the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug, and thank you, Dean, for your presentation and your representation to our district on behalf of Holger Canuck, Rotary International President. Well, there's been a number of comments in our chat box regarding the inspiration this conference has been, regarding the wonderful opportunities, windows of opportunity we have provided, and helped people to see a broader reach of what Rotary is all about. There's also been a number of comments about our wish to get back to meeting in person, to get back to seeing each other face to face and be able to have the fellowship of Rotary in a far more physical and personal way than we have over the past 15 months under COVID protocols. So next year, there will be a district conference, and we're all hopeful that we will have the border open and be able to attend in person. And I would ask Alan now if he would, on behalf of District Governor-elect Bev Harrington and Conference 2022 Chair, past District Governor Rob Martin, if you would please run the video promotion for that conference. Alan?
I'm Bev Harrington, District Governor for 2021-22. We'd like to welcome you to come to the beautiful resort at Samayama in Blaine, Washington, for our celebration where we could all be together again. Rotary connects changemakers.
Thank you very much, Bev and Rob. And you may register for that starting at the end of this conference online at the district website. You'll be able to sign up for that conference at that time. Throughout this conference, we have been giving our speakers a special gift in thanks for their presentations. And you can see on screen that special gift. And Doug, if I could ask you to unmute and just give us a little background into that gift, that would be splendid.
Yes, this is a gift that its origin is in the Pacific Northwest, designed by a First Nations person. And each of our speakers has been sent this gift of thanks from us, and we hope that they will use it and remember District Conference 21 as a special moment in their life as well. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thanks very much, Doug. And now we have a message from Rotary International President nominee Jennifer Jones, and it is brought to us by video. Alan, if you could run that segment, please.
I'm standing here at the most southern point of Canada. It's a spit of sand that dips into Lake Erie, one of the Great Lakes shared between Canada and the United States. It's a national park named by the French explorers, Point Pelée, meaning bald point because of this treeless V that dips towards the south. It's here that the metamorphosis of the monarch butterfly unfolds every year. It's when a small caterpillar goes into a protective cocoon and later breaks out to reveal itself as the regal monarch. And here we are today, each of us in our own cocoons, waiting for the day when once again we can spread our wings and fly. We've spent much of the last year coping with what the world has placed before us. President Holger spoke eloquently about the care that we have shown each other and how important it is to recognize how our bonds of fellowship have provided wind to our wings. And we've learned new ways to take flight and service across the globe as the pandemic has continued. I am overjoyed that President-elect Shaker has turned the spotlight onto Rotary service at a time when the world needs us most. One of my favorite quotes comes from Albert Einstein, who said, "Strive not to be of success, but rather to be of value." There is so much value we can give to the world today. Preventing disease is one of our areas of focus, and ending polio has created a global infrastructure that can help bring this pandemic to an end. But just as important, Rotary's values and our ethos of service above self provide some of the greatest value of all. Together, we can help rebuild from these difficult times, and together, we illuminate hope. One of my experiences in Rotary helps to illustrate how that is possible. A few years ago, my husband Nick and I attended a district conference in Jordan. It was held just outside of Amman, and the opening ceremonies were in a beautiful amphitheater overlooking the Dead Sea. There were a few speeches, and then we sat and enjoyed a wonderful dinner under the stars. It was there that I was introduced to Dr. Mark Turpentine from Indianapolis. Mark was in the country to conduct a Gift of Life mission. They provide open heart surgery to children that wouldn't be able to normally access such a procedure. On the last day of our stay, just hours before heading to the airport, the governor asked if we'd like to visit Dr. Mark at the hospital. This was the first day of the surgical team mission, and I jumped at the chance. I was quickly dressed in surgical greens and then quietly entered the operating theater. And there was Dr. Mark performing surgery. I didn't want to breathe. He was standing here, there was a nurse over there, and an anesthetist over there. A few minutes later, he looked up and he said, "Jen, when did you come in?" Quietly, I replied, "Just a few minutes ago." And then he said, "Come on over and let me show you what I'm doing." So I walked up, and there was a patient, completely covered, with the exception of a small square opening over the heart. Dr. Mark was stitching a patch about the size of a quarter onto a hole in the heart. He introduced me to 6-month-old baby Selma, a refugee from Syria. I watched in amazement as he stitched with great precision, and every once in a while he would say to the anesthetist, "Warm it up a little." Finally, he finished stitching, and he jiggled the heart a bit to make sure there were no leaks. And then he looked over again and said, "Okay, warm it up." And at that moment, little Selma's heart started to beat. I hadn't noticed that her heart wasn't beating. And at that moment, I watched her come back to life. What a gift. And then I went out into the hallway and I met her parents, and I was able to tell them that I just saw Selma's heart beating, and that she is going to run, and she is going to play, and she is going to be great. That's how I see the world coming out of this pandemic. Rotary has a great opportunity to patch the world's heart, and we'll do that through our commitment to global health, to emerge from the chrysalis casing of the past year and further spread Rotary values, Rotary fellowship, and Rotary's endless commitment to service. Like the emerging monarch, we have the chance to rid ourselves of this cocoon and to take flight. We will exit this pandemic poised to build a better world, a better community, and to be better ourselves.
Well, thank you to Jennifer for producing that video and sending it to us. I'm sure you're all inspired by it. I just want to point out that in the year 2007-2008, Jennifer Jones and Dean Rohrs were district governors in that same year and served together as classmates. I don't think it's any coincidence that the two of them have gone on to lead Rotary at the levels they have. And we want to thank Dean and Jennifer for their continued leadership to Rotary and bringing us forward. Well, as we come toward the end of our conference, I'm going to give our district governor, Carol Tichelman, one opportunity to perhaps give some thoughts before we wrap. Carol?
Thank you, Rod. And thank you all for participating over the last 3 sessions. I hope that we have opened opportunities for you and your clubs. I hope we've been able to inspire you about the amazing work done by our organization and the results achieved by your work and support of our foundation. And as Dean said this morning, we've been able to open those blinds to the opportunities to serve are limitless. Thank you again to our incredible sponsors, all who have Rotary connections. And I want to take this opportunity as well to thank the Artisan, the shop in Chilliwack, where we obtained those beautiful Indian art silver serving sets. They're not Rotarians, but they have been amazing sponsors of Rotary over the years and provided us a significant discount on those gifts because it was for Rotary. And I would like to thank the Artisan. I'd also like to take this opportunity to again thank anyone who has had a hand in putting this conference together. With a special thank you to Conference Chair Doug Wickers. And I've got to say this, Doug, sorry, but the year that Doug was our club president, And Doug shared with everybody yesterday that he lost his hand in a meat grinder when he was 5 years old. The Rotary International's president's theme that year was lend a hand. And how prophetic that was, Doug. I would also like to thank our MC, Rod Thompson, the voice of Rod that's so well known throughout our zone and the Rotary world. Our tech guru, Alan St. Job Badek, and all our speakers, with a special thank you to my dear friend, past Rotary International Vice President Dean Rohrs. My fellow Rotarians, thank you for all you do. You inspire me each day. It's truly been an honor to serve as your governor this Rotary year. Thank you for joining us. And as Jennifer said, as our cocoons open, stay well, stay safe, and keep up your amazing Rotary spirit. Back to you, Rod.
Thank you very much, Carol. And of course, from our opening ceremony yesterday through our first presenters, Alicia and Dallas, who challenged us in our thoughts about First Nations in Canada and Native American people in the US, and the way they have become forgotten and they have been erased from our history, and the fact that we really need to think about reconciliation in those areas. On to Linda McGowan, who showed us that there really is no disabilities in life, just different abilities that challenge us to do our best each and every day. This morning, we heard from Marie Paul Adama and some of the challenges she's faced in her life, including the genocide in Rwanda, how she stepped above that, and a Rotary fellowship helped her do that and now continues to serve others who have gone through trauma. Our current scholars, Alison McLean and April Klassen, who gave us a bit of an insight into why they're scholars, the things they've already accomplished, and the things they will accomplish because they have been selected as Rotary Foundation scholars. Chad Shipmaker sharing his journey and some of the amazing things that he's done with the Howard Buffett Foundation, the Gates Foundation, and now moving forward in his career. Obviously, recognition of our district award recipients today. Thank you for your service, for your continuing service, and for the outstanding contributions you make to this Rotary district, to your communities, and to our world. And of course, our president's representative, Foundation trustee Dean Rohrs, my dear friend. And indeed, when we're able to get back together and share a libation, Dean will tell you some stories about our trip to Russia. And we'll look forward to sharing those with you. So on behalf of all of the members of the District Conference Committee and District Governor Carroll, we're reaching an end to our conference. I do want to point out that the time that shows here is 3:40 p.m. and the time that shows on our minute by minute for the final wrap is 3:40 p.m. So we are right on time. Thank you to everybody who has contributed. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for your continuing service to Rotary. Bye now.
Thank you, Rod.